you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're watching us on Broadway World or over here on the Broadway Podcast Network, and I am super excited about today. I'm really excited about today. I feel left out because I don't have an Emmy Award. Everyone has Emmy Awards that is coming on. Frank, give up some of the Emmy Awards. He has all of them. He wins them all, every single one of them. He's got, look, I have receipts. What is this? Frank? And Cody's got them too. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about I saw my first Broadway show. I saw Beauty and the Beast at the Palace. It's a very special place. And then saw Aida and then saw Liza. Everything's at the Palace. So Cody and Frank are going to tell us all about a brand new documentary that they have. I think my whole life I've just been doing a Frank impression. That's what this show is. It's a Frank impression. Cody, welcome to the show. Frank, I just am doing an impression of you.
I'm so flattered. Well, you're nailing it. You are nailing it.
But you have better hair and teeth, and I'm mad about it.
I have a guy.
Okay, please give me a text. Call me when this show is over. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Cody, do you know Frank because you worked on his show?
Frank and I are old pals. Essentially, I got into this whole business because I was a Broadway performer. I was very lucky. Went to school.
That's Cody over there.
That's me. That's me yucking it up and on the town. And when I moved to New York, it just happened to be the time that YouTube became a thing. And so I was one of a very small few people that made YouTube videos with the Broadway community. Frank was the star of the second one that we did. It was good for both of us. And a couple years later, when Frank became the host of New York One's on stage, we were at a dinner. He was hanging out with my, I guess, then girlfriend, now wife, Alicia Umphris. And he was like, do you know anyone who could join me as a producer? And I thought about it and was like, yeah, I could do it. And so we started running around covering shows, and that's how it all got started.
Frank, look, he just took the shot. You asked the question, he took the shot and ran with it. What's it like for you when you see people like Cody and all of the people? We've had other people who work for you, Frank, on here. The Broadway community is your co-host, is the people that are you. Well, so what's it been like when you look back? I'm not kidding. Growing up in New York and New Jersey, we all have turned on New York One and seen Frank. And as a Broadway baby, we loved the coverage that you've given us for years. So is there a certain feeling you get now that you've done this and have 167 Emmy Awards?
Robert, I'm just going to keep you around for good. You are the best for my self-esteem. I'm just going to let you know that. No, of course, like you said, being a Broadway baby and turning on the TV and seeing theater on your television, and then coming to the theater and going to your first Broadway show, the Palace Theater, to see Beauty and the Beast. That was me too. I grew up coming up to New York City from Philadelphia to see theater with my mom. And I went to school in New York City. I went to Fordham University at Lincoln Center to study theater and then ultimately study journalism. But I'm the theater kid at heart. And so to be a part of this community and honestly to tell the stories of this community and to amplify this community every single week on my show on New York One on stage, and then also to do this with All Arts and PBS in the past. I mean, I'm so grateful, and I truly enjoy the work that I do. It has never felt like work, and it's an important community that means a lot to me. And so to be there with the camera, with the storytelling, it means the world to me, truly.
Well, we're so grateful for it. And if you ever want to see your favorite Broadway star and you watch the Roundtable every week and they don't come on, that's because they're on Frank's show and they turned us down. That's the reality. Okay, so Cody, how is this? And I say that with love, and I root and watch every single day. We love over there and your show, and you're the best at what you do.
Thank you,
Cody. So when you watched Broadway's Palace Theater and this documentary Playing the Palace, how did the idea come about? And there's a lot of history you all have to cover in this.
Frank and I were producing on stage for a couple years before the pandemic times. We produced on stage together for like the next 2 years after the pandemic started. And, it was always in the ether. It's like, they're going to do this crazy thing with the Palace. We remember being with Tina Landau, SpongeBob. And then I remember a friend of the gym whose husband is a lawyer being like, oh no, they're going to close that show. We know they're going to raise the palace on this date, sort of a thing. So we're hearing these rumblings, talking about how we should cover it. The opportunity seemingly came and went. And I remember there was a day whenever everything was shut down, when it was Zombie Town in Times Square because of COVID. And Senator Schumer came right by the TKTS steps and gave a speech to a handful of people about how he was going to like inject this government funding to try to like save the Broadway industry and help us come back. And as we were there, the construction site for the palace was right there. You could still sort of hear stuff working. And that was the like, oh, maybe there's still a story here. We'll cut to like 2 years later. Frank's like, I have this friend named Simone Levinson, and her husband is a very successful, influential, talented real estate developer. And he's the guy in charge of the TSX project, which is the building the palace is now in. And Simone will give us a tour. So we ran down there, we met up with her, and she walked us in before it was officially open. It was still under construction. And it was just flabbergasting to, walk into the theater on the wrong side. We're walking in this new entrance that didn't exist before, and we're going up this beautiful escalator. And we walked in, it's just stunning. It was like the most beautiful redo of a theater I've ever seen. And every sort of thing they would point out just was kind of mind blowing. And it was so obvious in that moment, like, we should try to go after this. And that's for me how it was like, let's get in Jimmy Nederlander's office and try to get permission.
Frank, when did you realize for you that there was a story here? I mean, if you don't know people, they lifted the palace off of the ground level and reopened it. What is it, 4 stories? How much higher is it?
30 feet in the air. I mean, an unprecedented task that they accomplished. That alone was worth the story. The fact that they were picking up this incredible structure that was so iconic. I mean, the palace is synonymous with folks like Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli and Diana Ross and Bette Midler, all these greats who have played the palace over the years. And then vaudeville, it was to play the palace in the vaudeville days was a sign that you had made it. There you go. There's our poster. But my first love for this theater was back in 1991. My mom took me to see, it was my second Broadway show, but I'll never forget seeing it. It was the Will Rogers Follies. It had just won the Tony Award, or multiple Tony Awards, won the Tony for Best Musical. It was Tommy Tune at his height, directing and choreographing this exquisite extravaganza. And I remember as a kid walking off of Broadway into that theater and just being taken aback by the size of it and the beauty of it. And that stuck in my mind for a very, very long time. And every single time that I'd seen something at the palace, be it Beauty and the Beast, or as you mentioned, Aida, I vividly, An American in Paris, I vividly remember where I sat in that theater. I love that theater so much. And so when they were raising it, and there were a lot of naysayers, when they announced that they were going to raise the palace. I mean, this is a landmark. This is an institution. This is a venue that is one of the great palaces and temples of the Broadway stage. And when they were going to raise it, I remember a lot of folks saying, oh my gosh, they're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin it. And that's, the furthest thing they did. They refurbished it and, made it even more beautiful, if you can imagine, with what they did.
It is stunning. You have to walk in and get a ticket, see anything that is going to be at the palace. And I know there was a lot of hubbub, Cody, about who was going to open the palace. Ben Platt came in and did an epic run where he paid homage to some of the great moments and singers of the past that have played the palace. And this is all covered. The journey of the palace is all covered in the documentary. What does the documentary exactly talk about? And you have talk about stars. You have stars in this documentary.
Yeah, in thinking of how we told this story, like the thing that kept jumping out for me is the fact that if you don't know anything about theater, you've still heard the phrase to play the palace, playing the palace, right? And I was like, so let's unpack that. Like, why is that such a magical thing? And in trying to do that, you get a history of everyone who has given an epic sort of performance there. You get these intimate look backs at these like incredibly special moments, whether it was like Judy 1951 whether it was all the Warren Bacall shows in the 70s and early 80s, whether it was Lacage, whether it was Disney coming to Broadway for the first time, as they did with Beauty and the Beast, and then Aida, all the way up to the epic engineering feat, which was the Rays, and then Ben Platt's reopening concert. So that's what we get. We get the history of the last 111 years, if you will.
Oh, just 111 years. Just 111 years. And I know, Frank, in the press release, it talks about the business aspect. It was not cheap for them to do this. I think it was a couple $2 billion project. And that's a whole other story that is going to interest people out here. If you're not interested in the art side, just the logistics side and the financial side is covered in this as well.
Yeah, over $2.5 billion was the price tag for this. And, we get into detail and we have this amazing guy, Tony Mazzo, who's a real New Yorker, who's the one who kind of came up with the idea of actually how to lift it, creating this hydraulic system, which he did specifically for the Palace, which is also covered on screen.
Wow. And now you can get tickets. You can go see Glengarry Glen Ross over there at the Palace right now if you want to see the inside after you watch the documentary. So, Frank, did you have to open your Rolodex and go down your contact list to get, Bernadette Peters and Joel Grey and all of the Ethan Slater, all the people, Heather Headley? Who's in this, and what was it like when you reached out and asked them to be a part of it?
I mean, for everyone. And yes, I just pulled out my phone and started texting and emailing, and everyone literally said yes. They have such fond memories of working on the Palace. You mentioned Heather Headley, and I also and you mentioned Ethan Slater. A little fun tidbit that you'll learn from the film is that both of them were so in love with being performers in that space that when they left their respective shows, Ethan leaving SpongeBob and Heather leaving Aida, the thing that they took with them was a piece of the actual stage from the Palace. And they both have pieces of the Palace stage in their homes.
It's incredible. That's what it means to be able to play there, for sure. I want people to know while we're talking that it's streaming on May 13th at 6 o'clock and broadcast at 9 o'clock Eastern. And All Arts Documentary Selects. How can we tell us about where it's going to be, Cody? How can we find it? How can we make sure we access it and support this film?
The easiest way to access it is to go to allarts.org. Starting on May 13th for the next couple of months after, you'll be able to see it right on their homepage or, travel to it. If you want to watch it on your TV, there's instructions there for how to find it on your TV, depending on where you live. But allarts.org is the easiest way.
Easy. Perfect. You don't even have to spend all your money and just go see allarts.org and you can get this. Frank, while you were talking, I was thinking about the world we live in today, funding for arts, funding for theaters, and as we are in a crucial time to support art and artists and places where art is made. So there's a lesson in this show as well that there's a lot of history that we need to preserve in art, and the future of art is in these institutions as well.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I dedicated my life's work to for the past, more than 2 decades now, is preserving and telling the stories of artists, specifically those who work in the Broadway space. And, kudos to my employer over at Spectrum News, New York One, but then also to All Arts as well for really believing in something like this and giving us a platform to present a film like this.
It's awesome. So, Cody, you go from Broadway superstar to producer to now Ordinary Sunday is your own company that you get to now produce and put out new pieces of work. What does it mean for you, this journey from an artist in front of this, on the stage and in front of the camera, to now being behind, but now you have the ability to make your own projects that speak to you?
That was the reason why I wanted to make the shift, and why I feel so fortunate to have made the shift. It's like when I was doing shows, when I was in Memphis, Cinderella, whatever it may be, it was so fun to, at the end of the show, have everyone clapping and on their feet and being like, wow, we gave people a fun night. But now the reach that we can have, the way that we can help sort of entertain and move people and educate people is so much greater. And, the journey really was because as a performer, I was seeing that yes, the shows on stage are interesting and fun, but it's often the show behind the show that is really entertaining. And so now we get to, with Frank, shine a spotlight on those stories.
Oh, that's exciting. I think this is a good duo. I think there's a lot of documentaries and a lot of theater history we could tell. Frank, have you survived this season? I mean, this was one hell of a Broadway season.
It was a great season. Yes, I am. I'm catching up on my sleep as fast as I can. We're still going. We're still going now that the Tony nominees and the 2025 Tony class has been announced. Every week leading up to the Tonys on Spectrum News New York One, I'll be having folks on. So we're still running that marathon, Robert, but we're all in this together, right?
Yeah. Oh, and while you're out here, make sure you see Frank host the 91st Annual Drama League Awards on May 16th. It is the biggest party. No, I'm not going to say
You're
shade.
going. You're going.
I usually
You
do
always go. You always go. I always see you
Are
there.
you kidding? It's the best party on Broadway. I don't want to make the Tony people mad or the outer critics people mad. But listen, if
It
you
is
want to
fun.
see a star at 11 o'clock in the morning, every star is there at the Drama League Awards. And I fan out about Frank. The first time I met Frank, it was on that red carpet, and I said the same thing. I said, "I'm going to fan out about you because you've been in my house more than anyone I've dated, anybody that I've." He's there every day, Cody. Do you understand? You turn on and your TV automatically goes to channel 1, and it's Frank.
That's how they get you.
That's it. So, Cody, what do you have to say about the state of the theater and Broadway and this season on Broadway, working with Frank and then making this, and you as an artist, the importance of stuff like this being told, the history of art being told?
Yeah, someone asked me the other day, it's like, what did I wanted the impact of this film to be? And I'll be honest with you, like, this season is so good that it is nearly impossible to think that, like, some of these shows, which are incredible, may not have like as long life as they should. I hope that they watch this film and they say, like, you know what, let me go take a chance on a show, because the shows that everyone's talking about, the shows that got all the nominations, are incredible. And unique to this season, the other shows are also incredible. It's really, really good this season. Like, get out there, go see Boob, go see Pirates of Penzance, and go see maybe Happy Ending, and go see Dead Outlaw, my personal favorite.
What
Get out
about
there and see a
Sunset
show.
Boulevard?
Incredible. I was there last week for nomination night. Robert, like people who love theater but maybe have never thought it through in this way, there are certain nights where the performers are going to give extra. And I knew that Nicole and Tom and that show, Sunset Boulevard, was going to be nominated. So I bought a ticket for that night, that May 1st performance. And oh my gosh, just absolutely incredible. Go see a show. It's great right now.
Go see a show, no matter what. And I say this all the time around the country. There's a tour, there's a regional production. Like, we need to continue to pump money into the arts and support. The best way you can support the arts is buy a ticket and go see a show.
That's right. Robert, what have you loved from this season?
Oh, I love Maybe Happy. I'm not going to ask Frank because I know, like, the Broadway gods will come in and then he'll get in trouble because I know he's got a secret favorite, but I won't. I love Maybe Happy Ending. I love Maybe. And you know what? I had a lot of fun at Pirates of Penzance the other day.
Me too.
I think it's fun. I love their opening. I love Jinx. I think there's so much fun. I love Dead Outlaw. I love, I love Dead Outlaw off Broadway. I love Dead Outlaw on Broadway. I love original stuff that's out here. And I'm a good gay, so you can't. Death Becomes Her is where it's at. Buy a ticket to see it, people. Everybody go see it.
It's my mom's favorite show. Mom's favorite show of the season.
Cody, that's me. The gay me, and your mom. We love Death Becomes Her. That's perfect. It's about the gays. It's all for the gays. Frank, are you? When can we see? When can we see you? When's the best way to see your show? It runs, like, I don't know, I feel like it's on every 15 minutes.
Saturday and Sunday at 7:30 and 10:30 p.m. You can also go to ny1.com, or they put the shows on YouTube as well. So
make us guilty. Who do you have on this week? Someone, Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal make brownies with Frank in his apartment. Go ahead, tell us what you got.
We have Sadie Singh on this week.
Oh, see, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
See, Frank, while I have you here, I was reading the New York Times, and I think you're sitting in it right now. You have the world's most gorgeous apartment.
Thank you. Thank you.
What if you could read the story? It's a fascinating story, and your ceiling, and you had no idea this was all hidden behind your apartment?
Not at all. No, when I was I had my final board meeting with my co-op board, and after the board meeting, my now neighbor said to me, you may want to come check out my ceiling below you, because there is this Gustavino ceiling that was underneath my ceiling. We're on the same line. I have a feeling it's under yours as well. And so I signed the papers, and that day hired a contractor who came in and broke through the ceiling. And he was like, guess what? You have a Gustavino arch underneath your dropped white ceiling. And so in 2-3 months, we blew it out and redid the apartment, and I moved in.
It's so stunning. Read the article. The article is still up. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful article, and I love it. New York Times feature. The only time I'm in the New York Times, I think, if I'm going to get served with, a debt notice, when they have to serve feature. I love you all. I love the career that Frank has. We all aspire to be and do what you do when we're in the media and Broadway. So you're the blueprint and a great role model and example for all of us out here on the hustle. So thank you for being such a wonderful person to look up to and aspire to be. And Cody, I look forward to seeing all the movies and films, and I hope you still can shuffle off to Buffalo and sing 16 bars and do it all. We're here
He
for
can
it.
still do it. He can still do it. We were at a soiree not too long ago, and he got up and sang.
So we're ready for you to do it all. Come on, Cody, you could do it all. And much love to your wife, who talk about can sing. She could sing her face off as well. Allarts.org, everybody. We're going to make sure that you get it. You go to allarts.org, and we're all going to check out Playing the Palace. It's going to be out this month, and you have a couple of months to watch. So make sure you put it on your television screen or watch it wherever you watch it. Enjoy your art, and go see a Broadway show.
Robert, thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Much love. I'll see you on a red carpet or out at a party or at a moment. I'll see you at the drama leagues.
I'll see
you at the theater.
We'll see you at the theater. Hey, I've heard that before.